Hi and welcome to another video on this channel. When entrants get selected in the Diversity Visa Lottery, they usually ask the question, what's next? And they are generally advised to go ahead and fill out their DS-260. But in this video, I will be discussing 4 things you must consider as a DV selectee before going ahead and filling out your DS-260. So let's jump straight into things. Upon being selected in the Diversity Visa program, you must be assured of your sponsor. In other words, the US government doesn't want to welcome immigrants into the country who are not capable of meeting their needs. So this is one important thing that a selectee must take into consideration. It may be obvious for some selectees because many people already have relatives, friends, and acquaintances in the United States who are willing to stand as their sponsor, but it's not obvious for every selectee. I've had cases where selectees submitted their DS-260 and their documents, but unfortunately for them, at the end of the day, they did not have someone to stand as their sponsor. And because of that, they eventually missed that golden opportunity. So as a DV selectee, before filling out your DS-260, be sure or be assured of your sponsor. If you have a sponsor, then great. If not, then you have to identify someone who is in the United States as a permanent resident or a US citizen to stand for you, to stand on your behalf as your sponsor. Now, the next thing you have to consider if you are selected in the Diversity Visa program before submitting your DS-260 is your case number. As I said from the beginning, the question usually is what's next? And generally selectees are told to go ahead and fill out their DS-260. I've even seen in some places where it is said that the diversity visas are issued on a first to apply, first to be served basis, which is not true. Diversity visas are issued after interviews, and those interviews are scheduled according to the case number of each case. So it is a wise decision to get to know what your case number actually is and the position of that case number in your region to have an idea of when your interview is actually going to take place within the fiscal year. Because if you have a low case number, it means that your interview will be set for somewhere around the beginning of the fiscal year. And on the other hand, if you have a high case number, then your interview will be later in the fiscal year. So this is another thing you have to consider as a DV selectee before moving on to fill out your DS-260. And our third point in this video is the conditions of eligibility to enter the DV lottery. It is true that a selectee has already passed that stage, but not all selectees actually entered the lottery respecting the rules at the beginning. You may be aware that there are a couple of requirements to meet before entering the diversity visa lottery. For example, you must be from a country that is currently eligible. Then you must also satisfy the education or work experience criteria. So if you did not, as a selectee, respect any of those requirements before entering the lottery, then it is not a good sign for you, because at the end of the day, you may have to prove that you actually entered the lottery respecting those conditions. And if it is seen that that was not the case, you may be disqualified. But if, on the other hand, you respected the rules and you entered the lottery as you should have done, that is by respecting the rules, then bravo to you, and let's move on to our final point. And our final point is similar to the one we just discussed, and it has to do with the passport requirement. Around 2 years ago, the passport was introduced as part of the requirements to enter the diversity visa lottery. An entrant needs to have a valid unexpired passport to enter the lottery. So if at all you respected that requirement and you entered the lottery and you were selected, then you are good to go. But on the other hand, if you did not respect that requirement and you entered the lottery and you were selected, then that's a red flag. Because as you may be aware, in the application process, you will be asked to submit your documents, which include scanning the biodata page of your passport. Now, that is not just for formality, it is actually for a comparison to be made between the information you provided on your entry and the actual information as it is in your passport. So when that comparison is made and it is seen that there are some discrepancies, you will have to justify why. If you do not or cannot justify why the discrepancy in the information presented to KCC as compared to what you entered the lottery with originally, then that's another reason for disqualification at your interview. So these are things that you must consider and not just go ahead and submit your DS260, because at the end of the day, submitting a DS260 is not going to speed up your process. Your case number will actually determine when during the upcoming fiscal year you will be invited for interview. So this is what I had to share with you. After being selected, you must consider these 4 things. You must be assured of your sponsor. You must consider your case number position in your region. You must confirm that indeed you entered the lottery respecting the rules, and finally the passport regulation. So thanks for watching this video. I hope it was helpful to you in your application process. And as I always say, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because there are many more videos, informative ones, coming up concerning the diversity visa program. Thank you, and see you, God willing, in the next one. Goodbye.